Nope. Nope. Didn't do that. Didn't do any of them. Or them. What did I do last year? Hi everybody, welcome back to Darlingbrough Model Railway. I'm Richard. Happy New Year everybody. 2023 is upon us. It only feels like about 5 minutes ago since I was talking about the end of 2021 and my plans going forward into 2022. So now that we are in 2023, I wanted to have a look back and see what my plans and predictions were for 2022 and basically see how much of it I managed to accomplish. Looking back at my New Year video, the main thing that I said that I wanted to accomplish was to get the track down and get the layout up and running. Have a look at this clip. I will be focusing solely on getting the track done. When I actually come to do this, I'll be reviewing all of the comments, all of the suggestions, and I'll be going back over everything that everyone's told me. Also, I will be looking at replacing all of the older second-hand points with new points as well. Yeah. Unfortunately, I kind of went the opposite way on that one, really. Instead of getting more track down, I actually ended up taking all the track I had down back up again. On top of that, I also mentioned, once all the track is down, I will then obviously focus on giving it all a very good clean before I start doing some running sessions. Now what I'm going to do with the running sessions is I am going to be doing something a little bit different. Now obviously that didn't happen either, as I didn't have any track laid down. I didn't really feel the need to clean any of it. Now there are several reasons why I didn't get any of the layout done last year, which I'm going to go through in this video. One of the main reasons is that where I had my drawbridge section, I now have a big large gap. Now obviously that wasn't the plan. I was planning on getting the drawbridge set up and fixed and sorted, as I mentioned in my last New Year's video. As it's a new year, I do really want to focus on my drawbridge section, and my plans are that I am going to be building it using perspex. I am going to strip the sides back as well, so the perspex is on each end of the drawbridge section as well. The hinges themselves, I have decided I'm going to try these, which are cabinet hinges. I'll be honest, the main reason that this wasn't done was purely down to a financial reason. The fold down section, made of wood, was starting to swell, it was starting to buckle slightly, and it was getting stuck. I was getting incredibly frustrated with the drawbridge section that I had in place. Having done some online research and working out how much it was actually going to cost me to put down a piece of acrylic, it made me realise how expensive it really was going to be. And obviously with all of the financial crisis, with the price of gas, electric, fuel, everything rising, a big piece of perspex didn't really rank fairly high on my financial list of priorities, as you may expect. Now I did attempt to contact a few local plastics manufacturers and just ask them if they had any kind of sheets of clear acrylic or perspex that I could purchase, anything that was maybe scratched or damaged or something that they couldn't particularly sell. And I'll be honest, I didn't really get very far, because the first few that I contacted basically told me no, and I kind of got really disheartened having the door shut in my face, so I didn't really pursue that avenue of inquiry anymore. Another one of the reasons that I didn't get any track down or do any running sessions is that the last time I did a running session, I was finding that my basic Hornby controller really kind of wasn't up to running anything larger than a basic loop. Now I did plan on changing this. In fact, I actually said, another main issue that I'm having is this thing here. A lot of people have told me, get rid of it, get something better, which is definitely something that I am planning on doing. I'm essentially going to have 3 controllers, one for each area of the layout. It might get a little bit confusing to start with, but I'm sure I'll get the hang of it. Again, down to purely financial reasons, that didn't get done either. It's amazing what takes priority and what takes a backseat financially when your life and everything becomes really super expensive. And unfortunately, a lot of my hobby just, yeah, it fell by the wayside. One of the things I was looking forward to doing last year was more scenery work. Once I have got the track up and running and everything up and running nicely, I will be then focusing on the scenery. Obviously, as I didn't set up any of the layout, I didn't get any scenery work done either. In fact, the only piece of scenery that I've actually got is my rocky bridge section. But I did build that before I even had the shed, so I don't really feel that that counts. Now, obviously, I have got a video on that. Don't forget to watch that if you are interested in how I built that. I was planning on adding some scenery to that, so water effects, make it look like a river. But again, I want to now wait until the rest of the scenery around that area is done so that I can tie it all together properly. The last thing that I mentioned that I really wanted to do and had plans on doing was to give my locos a really good service before I ran them again. My little blue diamond that I mentioned before has been running really sluggish and stuttery. I have had a lot of issues with it and I've had a lot of feedback on the best way of servicing it. So definitely I'm going to give this a really good service this year, obviously on a video, and I'm also going to give another service to my Class 58 as well, because that just tends to be running a little bit sluggish and slow as well. Obviously, as I wasn't running any locos, I didn't feel the need to service any locos, so yeah. Now, with regards to the shed itself, I did mention that I had a few jobs which I wanted to complete. The shed itself is pretty much complete. I do have ideas on just improving it slightly. I am going to finish insulating the door. I've not quite finished that yet. I'm going to get a better handle on the door as well, because at the moment I can't actually shut it from the inside very easily. And also I am going to focus on insulating the roof as well. So I am also going to focus on the outside of the shed, which you don't see, but the path is like very overgrown at the moment. And obviously when I come out at night, which tends to be when I do come out to film the videos, it's quite difficult to see the path, and I usually trip over bits and bobs and God knows what. So I'm planning on just sort of getting rid of some of the grass, putting some paving slabs down, some better paving slabs, some gravel, and getting some night lights as well, just little solar lights just to light up the path. Just so it's a little bit easier and a bit more nicer for me to come into the shed at night as well. As you can see from my breath, the shed insulation hasn't been completed either. Most of it's been done. And with outside the sheds, I did do some work on that, and I'll come back to that in a moment. But it's now kind of overgrown again, and the path's now covered in undergrowth, and it's just a bit of a nightmare really. So that was a list of all the things that I said I wanted to accomplish in 2022, and I never got around to. Thanks for watching. Bye. Only kidding. I think it's only fair that I actually look at the things that I did manage to accomplish. Well, I did get the new handle on the door. Yay, go me! I also, oh yeah, next year I'm not planning on releasing a weekly video. It does give me the opportunity to focus on producing better videos when I do release them. It will give me the chance to actually get back and focus on the sort of video content that I was planning on doing on the channel from the beginning. I want to show you stuff being built, stuff being worked on. I want to show you the scenery being built. I want to show you, running sessions. I want to actually show you the layout itself rather than just make it all about me. I will be able to focus on more scenery tips and hints and guides, weathering techniques. I'll be able to focus on producing how-to guides on all of that, as well as other tips and hints on money saving when you're building your layout. Also, sort of talking about running sessions and, revealing new locos and new rolling stock and stuff like that when I get it. I think it's safe to say that posting less frequently is definitely something I can say I achieved in 2022. Yay! Is that a good thing? I did make a conscious decision that in 2022 I wanted to post videos when I actually had something worthy of posting that relates to the channel. I actually wanted to provide you with content that's actually worth watching, and that's definitely something I feel that I managed to achieve. I discussed several topics, including preventing light leakage, several videos on weathering techniques, and also a 2-part guide on how to deal with excessive heat from warm weather. Something I wish I had now. On top of that, we also did a day trip to the Locomotion Museum in Childon, and I turned that into a video as well. As well as sorting out the handle in the shed, I managed to sort out this lot as well. One of the issues that I've got is obviously right behind me, as you can see. It's a complete mess. Yeah, I've basically crammed as much as I can onto one shelf, and it's just looks awful, to be honest. I am planning on getting more storage set up in the shed. Now, this was one thing that I definitely can say that I managed to achieve last year. The flimsy, warped shelf that was behind me has now been completely replaced with a whole list of shelves on both sides of the shed that has given me so much more storage space. I also created a paint storage rack for all of my paints, which has really helped with keeping everything much more organised than when I had everything just dumped in a box like before. So with my shed much more organised, my enthusiasm and excitement for cracking on with the layout was much higher than it had been. However, they say that you take 1 step forward and 2 steps back, and that sort of happened to me. Kind of. Let me explain. Over the last few weeks, my missus and I have been talking about our plans for the garden. We were planning on building a large shed which we were going to turn into an office so that we can set up a business. Plans have changed. We are still going to be doing the business. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but the idea of the large shed is still on the table. But for me, I have got the possibility that as long as I sort it out and I arrange it and I organise it, I could actually have a fresh new shed for the model railway, for the layout, which would basically be at double the sort of size that I'm in now. Now, I'm currently in an 8-foot by 6-foot shed, but my missus has given me the green light that as long as I sort it out, I could potentially have a 8-foot by 12-foot shed, so literally double the size of what I've got now. Now, obviously, this was a huge opportunity to get a really good space to set up a model railway. More storage space, more area to run trains, just generally a larger environment rather than the sort of slightly cramped conditions I'm in at the moment. Admittedly, I did start working on the garden pretty much almost straight away. I was full of enthusiasm and excitement about setting up Project Big Shed, as I nicknamed it. It soon dawned on me how much of an epic task setting up a new shed was going to be, and I very, very quickly became really overwhelmed. I was still unsure if I wanted to wait until I get a new shed or continue working on the layout in this shed. The question is, do I put Darlingbrough Model Railway layout as it is at the moment, which I'll be honest isn't very far, on hold, focus on the new shed, get that up and running and then get back in? Or do I continue working on the layout as it is in this shed here, as well as working on the larger shed, and then maybe dismantle it all and move it into a larger shed further down the line, 6 months, a year down the line, once I actually have some space? On top of that, I was also planning on working on other side projects as well. One of the things I'm planning on building is my interpretation of a Guyver unit. I'm expanding my horizons a little bit, but obviously the main progress and the main bulk of the channel will obviously be focused on the layout. Now, when I initially posted that announcement, I was planning on doing a science fiction related project and posting it on this channel. However, after weighing up the pros and cons of posting non-model railway related projects on a model railway related channel, I kind of decided that it would have been better to launch a second channel focusing on the sci-fi, and that's exactly what I did. Obviously, this channel is focusing around about model railways, and I'm talking about doing sci-fi and other kind of like props projects and stuff like that, which, although there is a bit of a crossover, obviously there's similar techniques, sci-fi and model railways don't necessarily go together, which is why I am also going to be launching a new channel. It's called Darlingbrough Sci-Fi Builds, obviously keeping the name so you know it's me. I will be focusing on all of the sort of builds that are nothing to do with model railways, so anything like biolabs or alien technology or even extraterrestrial plants. I did start working on the new project for the new channel, and in my mind the project was only going to be taking a few weeks, maybe a month, absolute maximum. However, time got away from me. Between testing out new techniques, working on the project, and a serious amount of procrastination on my behalf, everything kind of stalled to a halt, really. The project is still not complete, albeit it is at about 95% complete. I'm just waiting on some new parts. If you do want to see the full story, then I have put a link in the description down below. So with all of that going on in the background, the weather turning from extremely nice weather to freezing cold, everything kind of slipped away, really. So how do I sum up 2022? Was it a success for me, or was it a failure? Now, if I look at judging it against the video I posted last year on New Year, there was so many things that I said I wanted to do that I just simply never got round to. However, I can also look on what I did manage to achieve and focus on the positives. So, I'm not really sure if I can call 2022 a success or not. I'm kind of on the fence a little bit. Now, it would be interesting to know your opinions on that. Please drop me a comment down below. Let me know, has it been a failure or a success as far as you, the viewers, are concerned? I do respond to all of my comments, all of my feedback, and I'd be really interested in hearing your opinion. So where does that leave me in 2023? What have I got planned for the layout, the channel? Well, having learned from my mistakes, I am not going to say I'm going to be doing this or I'm going to be doing that, because the chances are I will make an announcement and then you'll never see that content again. So instead, all I'm going to ask you is stick with me. If you like the channel, if you like me, if you want to see stuff happening, and it will happen, subscribe to the channel, like the videos, help them share. Also, I'm going to be focused on my science fiction channel as well. Go over to that, subscribe to that channel as well. And if you do want to help support me, then you can do by buying me a coffee as well. There is a link down below. In the meantime, all I can say is enjoy 2023. Check out some of my other videos, see what I have been up to, and here's some suggestions here. And I will be seeing you again soon. So, Happy New Year.